damn, it's a proper mess tonight. I need to sort that pile out so it's not as messy. Oh, and it's a little bit cooler tonight as well. Let's see if we get some people on. Randomly like talking to myself while no people are on. No, can't even get my hat on properly. Now, first things first, let's get some beers out. Tonight, what have we got tonight? We have got, because... Hey, Alexander, how's it going, buddy? In honor of our American brothers and sisters across the pond, it's just been Thanksgiving, so I'm guessing everybody's like probably really full of turkey and fed up with their relatives and stuff. I found some American Portland, Maine, USA. It's called Shipyard. Anyone from the US? Eventually, come on. Does anybody know of the finest Maine ale known as Shipyard? It's an American session pale ale, and yeah, that's all right. Don't mind that. I wonder if it is actually American. I wonder if I need to put my glasses on to be able to read the small print on this one. I bet it's made in Burton or somewhere like that. Portland, Maine. Brewed and bottled in the UK. It is brewed and bottled in the UK. So there's a chance that some American people may know this. There's a chance that it is probably just an English beer that they decided to call Shipyard, or I don't know. Anyway, I hope you all go good, by the way. We did the poll. I did a poll earlier this week, and it came out that tonight, and I genuinely did have my fingers crossed that it was going to be this one tonight. Things you definitely should not keep in your pocket for self-defense. Oh, this hat's really annoying me. This month, genuinely this month, a massive surprise was that piece of content that I put out on the gel spray. That's done. Let's have a look. On my doofer. That's done way more than I was expecting it to do. So as it stands, it's been out since the 9th of November. So it's just about coming up to 4 weeks. It's on nearly 70,000 views. Generally was not expecting that from that. The popularity of that video just kind of blew me away. So I'm going to do a follow-up, because I know with this kind of YouTube game, you have to make sure you do a bit of a follow-up pretty quickly, else you got to ride that. Oh, excuse me, that is quite gassy. You've got to ride the crest of that wave. So I'll definitely do one. But with some of the things that people have been suggesting in the comments, saying, "Oh, you should carry one of these, or you should carry this," or there was some generally quite funny ones in there where people were saying, obviously you can't carry X, Y, and Z, but if you say you've got a bad back, you can always carry one of these. And I thought it'd be quite funny. So I'm actually quite glad that one got the most votes. Now, before we start, as we always do, house rules. If it is that you need to get up to go to the toilet at any point, feel free just to go, leave. You don't have to raise your hand or ask to leave the room. It's all good. We're all adults here. In the case of emergency, if there is a fire, then just make sure you leave to wherever the fire exit is. Don't try and stay around. Don't get valuables and property. Just exit the building and stay good. Oh, and don't forget to drink responsibly. Now you take that with a pinch of salt, I guess. Anyway, if anything at any point during this evening's talk you find offensive, No one's trying to be offensive. No one whatsoever is trying to be offensive. There's no malice, there's no harm or anything like that intended. It's all supposed to be light-hearted and fun. Hey, how's it going, buddy? All good? Yeah, so it's just folk chatting, chewing the fat, being knobheads. If it is that you find anything a little bit risque, then yeah, it's just silliness. That's all. That's all that it is. So one of the biggest thing, one of the most things, or at least one of the things that was put in the most in those comments. Oh, I've touched on this. So this is shipyard, which because we've just had, well, I say our American cousins have just had Thanksgiving. I found some American beer. This is Shipyard from Portland, Maine, USA. Although, having done some digging, I've just found out on the back it's actually brewed and bottled here in the UK, probably in Burton, which is just kind of down the road from me, which I think is quite amusing. I didn't realise that when I bought it, but yeah, I've got a couple of bottles of this to drink. That's a good point. Anybody else drinking tonight? Hopefully, everybody else drinking tonight. A thumbs up or leave a comment what you're drinking, whereabouts in the world you are. It's always good to hear where people are tuning in from. I don't think it's. I'm not sure what it's classed. I always get stuck on what's the difference between some of these, especially like a porter. But it claims that it's an American session pale ale. It's not too strong. It's only about a 3.4, which I guess for your session ales is probably about right anyway, isn't it? Because you don't want to get something too kind of heavy in there if you're going out for an all nighter. It reminds me, anyone in the UK, reminds me of like a pedigree, or nah, not necessarily a bass. But yeah, it's all right. It's quite nice. If you find yourself in a store and you see some Shipyard, although Shipyard haven't told me to say this, yeah, get yourself some Shipyard. It's good. So Mrs. Moorlander, she doesn't fall strictly on me. I'm reasonably good with that. She doesn't like that, but luckily she's out tonight with her sister, my sister-in-law. So yeah, in fact, I think even my two daughters are out tonight. So it is just little old me by my lonesome drinking some beers with some online buddies. I mean, you're not too wrong as far as good beer and bad beer. Yeah, pretty much. Um, yeah, I suppose it is what it is with that. Generally, there's very few beers that I won't particularly drink. Although a buddy did introduce me to one that was made from cherries, and that was a that was just a strange experience. One that I'd want to do again, but it was one of those, when you get these kind of very continental Europe style beers where it's not even like half a pint, and then the alcoholic, what's it on there, the like 9% or something crazy. But yeah, it was made with cherries, and it just kind of tasted a bit weird. So is a porter similar to a stout then? Because I do like a stout. I was in Morrison. This is where I got this from today. I was in Morrison's today, and I will say it's been a while since I've been in Morrison's, but quite impressed with the beers that they've got in there. I know Asda's crap. Tesco's it's all right. But I noticed they got Guinness in the bottle, but then they got another one that got like a yellow label on it, and it said that was a porter Guinness. I might try that. I tell you what, I'll try that one next one when we do the Christmas one. Because yeah, I do quite like a stout. I've got into stout. I think as I'm getting a bit older, I think most people like a Guinness because Guinness is good. I never really liked Guinness until, weird story going off on a tangent. My wife and I, we lived in New Zealand in 2005. So hey to all the Kiwis out there. Beer wasn't the. I mean, some of the beer was good. Some of the beer was nice, but it maybe wasn't to my palate. Let's just say. So whilst I was living in New Zealand, I just pretty much drunk Guinness and kind of just got used to Guinness, and I really do like Guinness now. Now it's weird. You should so on the Murphy side, I've always been a Guinness drinker, but we did a we do. There's a little. I say little. It's a mile. We do a good old fashioned. What would you call it? A pub walk, not a pub walk. You know what I mean, where you walk and stop off at every pub on the way. So there's from close to me there's we call it the Harts Hill Mile because from Harts Hill down into Newcastle, it's just about a mile and there's 13 pubs on the way. Now this time 3 of the pubs were shut, and 2 of the pubs went in and asked for Guinness and like, oh, we don't do Guinness, but we've got some Murphys. And I was like, oh, Murphys, I'm not really sure about that. I never really kind of appreciated it in the past. Had a couple of pints of Murphys. It's good stuff. Yeah, really impressed. So yeah, really do like that. Golden Vasa from Slovakia. No, I've never had that before. I do like European beers. My struggle is I'm a bit old now. My kidneys are starting to mess up, and I struggle with gout. So I'm on the allopurinol just to make sure you have to take that one every day for the rest of your life. But your European, like I love German beers, like your Weiss beers and your wheat beers, absolutely amazing. But not good for the gout at all. I don't think Guinness and stout is pretty good. Is good for the gout either. It makes me laugh when you tell people you've got gout because they think that you like drinking port and posh cheeses and stuff when it's not half the time. It's like some weird wafer that you've got from another shop and it's got loads of purines in it or something daft. So that Newcastle, yeah. So Newcastle, there's I think there's a couple of Newcastles here in the UK, but I live near the lesser known Newcastle. There's Newcastle upon Tyne, which is where the Geordies are from. Hi to everyone up north in Geordie land. I live a little bit further south from that, just about 20 miles, 30 miles south of Manchester. There's a town here called Newcastle under Lyme. It's a small town in the Lyme Valley. But yeah, it's very similar. And yeah, you can't fault Nuki Brown Ale. It is good. Oh, cool. So we have got quite a few people in from the US. That's cool. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving, by the way. It's not something that we do here in the UK, but I do genuinely like the idea of just kind of stopping, spending some time with your family and just kind of, giving thanks for the stuff that's happened and you have around you and all that sort of stuff. So it's something that if we ever adopted here, I could certainly feel that it's it's a nice kind of family celebration sort of thing. Oh, cool! I'm glad you enjoyed the Olight content. I've got all these all over my desk. There's put some out. Yes, this morning on the on that's the pro. No, that's the Arc. I had to do the same video. I think I had to do it about 6 times because I kept forgetting that's the Arc Feld Ultra and that's the Arc Pro Ultra, and then the Arc Pro Lite. That's the one that's just been released. The lady from Olight messaged me the other day. She's like, "Oh, brilliant! Look, this weekend, the Arc Pro Lite's coming out." I'm like, "Oh, sorry about that. I've already put some content out saying that it's already out." So, yeah, she was really good. I genuinely do like the lady that's at Olight. She's a really nice person. Oh, by the way, so also today, so last time we did one of these, there was a couple of lights that we gave away, and there was Oh, I forgot what one of them was. What was one of them? I think it was the Seeker 4 Pro, and then one of them was one of these O-Clip Ultras, O-Clip Pros. So the people at Olight have donated 2 more of these. So at the end of this, we'll be doing a giveaway for 2 of these. And what we're going to do this time is, instead of me sending them out, whoever the winners are, I'll take your name and address, and then we'll give that to Olight, and they'll just post it to you directly, which should make it a little bit better. You can't. I like my Olights. I do really like my Olight, and you generally can't go wrong with Phoenix. They are awesome lights. Yeah, really nice people. Whenever I go and see them when we're in Germany, a couple of the shows. And yeah, the lights that they make. I think I've said. Did I say? I'm sure I said last time. I do need to make some content on this. So Phoenix have sent me a few things actually, because I mentioned to them that I've got Moorlander EDC and Moorlander Tactical. So they've sent me the PD36R that I can do on Moorlander EDC, but they've also sent me the remote switches and Picatinny, so I can make some content on more of the tactical and attach it to a rifle as well. So I should have some of that content out soon, but yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I definitely appreciate that. I'm gonna message the Olight lady this year, but definitely hands down one of the highlights this year was going to Germany to IWA, and they did one of these like press events. And during the press event, the lady had asked me beforehand. She's like, "Oh, do you mind if we use your logo and stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm more than happy to." But I thought that they put it onto their, I thought they put it onto the website. And during the press event, they'd got this big kind of video and all this sort of stuff. And they run all about all these kind of big people that make content on their lights, and my name and my logo came up, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Anyway, where were we? What were we on about? What were we on about before? Phoenix make great lights, and Nightcore is another good company that makes good lights as well. Got quite a few of their lights. Yeah. Anyway, so the original one, we were talking about like things that you shouldn't carry in your pocket. I got the idea from this from a guy, what's his name? I forget his name. Anyway, he's got a YouTube channel, and he always puts on memes that you shouldn't share, because obviously you shouldn't share certain memes because they're a bit risque. I thought, well, with the laws that we have here in the UK as far as what you can't carry, if you carry anything in the UK with the intent for that to be used for self-defense, that then makes it an offensive weapon, because you've carried it with the intent to hurt somebody if you're attacked, which is, yeah, it's ridiculous. Hey, Grimney Reaper, how's it going, buddy? So there's so many things you just can't carry here because our laws are backwards. They generally are a little bit backwards. You can't say British cigarette anymore. What, a fag? You can say fags. Yeah, fags. I made some. So here's a very interesting fact for you. A fag is a measurement or a distance, and it's such an inconsequential measurement that somebody would say to you. Usually, let's say you're cutting up some wood. You've chopped the wood up. You've got to cut the wood up into, say, 75 centimeter lengths, and you've got a piece of wood that just means that there's a little bit left on the end. So you cut it all up, and then, I don't know, the gaffer would say, "Rand, how much is left on that wood?" You go, "No, not much. There's just a fag end left." The fag end, or the fag, is a small measurement that just means nothing. It's just, yeah. So you'll hear people say here, you'll say, like, especially if you got like a wife that's very short, and they'll say, "Oh, how tall's your wife?" And, oh, she's not tall, 4'2" and a fag end, because she's 4 foot. She thinks she's 4'2" and 3/4, but she's not. She's just really short, maybe. So yeah, fag's a beautiful word. Fags certainly. It's not as bad here, of course. I appreciate on your side of the Atlantic, it has different connotations. Even like faggot. So we used to my nan's farm, North Wales. We used to have faggots. Ooh, a lot of the time when we go around, she didn't have like specific nights that we'd have things, but there'd be regularly when you'd say what's for tea, and my nan would be like, "Oh, we got faggots for tea tonight," which again I appreciate on that side of the Atlantic. When somebody says we got faggots for tea tonight, that might sound a little bit strange. A faggot's a meatball, usually made with meat and not suet, like offal, just little bits that are in there. It's a very what's the word? I was going to say pauper's food, but I still like faggots. The meatballs in that respect. Yeah, so yeah, knives and stuff and different things here. So I thought, wouldn't it be funny if we just had an idea of things that on the comical side you shouldn't carry? Definitely. One of the ones that I saw a lot of people mention was deep heat, and that makes total sense, because just getting that on you when you're just out and you're trying to warm something up, that the intense heat that you get from that. I played rugby for 7-8 years, and it was regularly a thing that if you were playing a prank on somebody, you get the deep heat spray and you'd spray it in their shorts or you'd spray it in their kecks or something, and then they put it on, and then they'd probably end up just like going around windmilling everybody in the changing rooms trying to work out who sprayed deep heat all over their nuts. So I think that'd be quite a good one, just kind of like getting it in someone's eyes. Now it's funny you should say that with your rubber chicken. I go next level. Has everybody seen the film Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels? There was a character in that bludgeoned somebody to death with a 12-inch black cock, a big rubber black cock. So just imagine going to one of those sex shops and you like getting a rainbow one and just having that in your pocket, just in your trousers, or tucked into the belt of your trousers. You're going through security. Well, I suppose you wouldn't really have it in security in an airport, although you could keep it in your bag in security in an airport. But if you were getting on and off a train, you're in the middle of London and some detector goes off or something, and they just go, "Oh, excuse me, sir, we just need to take you to one side if that's okay. We just need to. It's just a routine check. Yeah, just blah, 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 whatever the police say." And then they're patting you down, and then they feel something in your waistband that goes down the side of your leg, and then they just look up, and there's just that eye contact, and you're just like, "How's it going?" And then they're just like, "Well, we're gonna have to find out. We're gonna have to take this out. Can I just ask? I just ask what that is. You know, what does it feel like?" They're just not going to say, are they? I think if you enjoy awkward moments, I think that would be really funny. That would be ridiculously funny. And then yeah, when you take it out, I mean like a proper long 12-inch with balls, and then one of those like suction cups on the end that you can like stick on your mate's bald head kind of thing. And then I mean, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Because I mean, I've never picked one of those things up, but it's just like pure rubber, isn't it? I mean, I guess, like I say, I've never touched one or anyway. But yeah, I think if you were to just wallop somebody with one of those, and then could you imagine it afterwards? Somebody then going to the police and going, "I've been attacked. Okay, so can I just get a description? Well, the guy was about 5'9", he's white beard, green hat. Oh, okay, right, okay. And I noticed you got some quite large bruises on your face. Can I just ask what you were attacked with? I believe it was a 12-inch rubber dick. Uh, Rainbow coloured 12-inch rubber dick. Okay, sir. That would be the first thing that I would go to. And it reminded me of that, mainly because I need to stop messing with this hat. Because I remember doing some airsoft one weekend, and there was a lad who'd got one that he was doing room clearing with. So instead of using flashbangs, he'd pie round the corner, check who was in there, and then on his belt, he'd got a rainbow coloured massive knob. And what he'd do is he'd throw that into the room, shout bang, everyone in the room going, "Is that a rubber cock?" By that point, he's gone in and cleared the room. And part of me's like, maybe I should buy one of those. See if I can get the Moorlander bank account to buy one. But yeah, I think that would be quite a funny one, especially then when you're trying to explain. Yeah, hit that like button. Can you just imagine the people that have only just come onto the call and like, whoa, I thought this was what you shouldn't carry in your pocket for self-defense. At the moment, Randy's talking about rainbow-coloured massive 12-inch cocks. Yeah, that would be quite funny. It's the excuses that you could potentially give with it though, because obviously I think the police in the UK at the moment are in a really hard situation. That's what she said. They're in such a predicament because I know from a couple of buddies that don't have that are coppers that don't necessarily agree with all of the stuff that they're having to do. But if you can just bring a smile to a copper's face just for that 20 minutes when they're asking you, can I ask why you're carrying this with you today? Because there's no lawful reason why you shouldn't be allowed to you're not allowed to carry that. Yeah, kicking Mustang. Yeah, that would be quite. Yeah, I'm sure you could probably get like a horse version of it or something like that instead. Yeah. Yeah, this you could just imagine the police, just the guy that's just like, oh, well, he attacked me. It's okay. You're in safe company, sir. If you just want to tell us what it was, and then yeah, the look on the faces when yeah. See, I was thinking of Saints Row as well because there was that gun. There was a gun that you could use, and it would fire them, and it would go up. Yeah, yeah. Saints Row, they were good games. It's a shame that they went all kind of uh, made for modern audience with the most recent one. I definitely need to get one of those though, because I think again, just for that guy, the laughs that we had that afternoon where he was room clearing them and then just kind of throwing them in. Yeah, it was really funny. But maybe I'll get Mrs. Morland to purchase it so it doesn't look. Actually, probably just be funny if the postman brought it round to me instead. Mm. I guess that would be another thing, yeah. Dependent on you could turn it. Is it called a Morning Star? Is that the one? It was like a mace with the bits around the outside. Yeah, you could push your keys into that, and I'm getting a little bit too into this at the moment. Really, kind of, yeah, smack somebody around with one of those. That would really be quite funny. Maybe I should have a sideline in helping the 2S LGBTQ IA plus community in protecting themselves. And one of the ways in which they can do that is a huge rainbow coloured appendage. You come home to find Mrs. Moorlander is just like, do you know what? I'm sorry, Randy, but I'm on the rainbow party now. Yeah, you're not as good as it used to be. That would be pretty bad. Oh. I think another one that I thought was quite funny as well was people were mentioning like sand, but then again, sand would be a good one because it's just a strange thing, isn't it? If the police were to come to you and they're like, "Oh, we just need to check the pockets," and they're patting you down, like, "What's this?" Because it would just feel like just like crumpled up um, tissue paper in your pocket, wouldn't it? But then when you pull it out and they're like, "Is that what I think it is?" Yeah, it's sand. Okay. Can I ask why are you carrying some sand? I'm a big sandcastle kind of guy. Yeah. I like to go around the city, and every now and again, maybe on a wall, maybe on the floor somewhere, I'll just make a little sandcastle, and I wait till the waves wash it away. And the police are just like, at this point, they're like, maybe we should. Is it Section 5 when they and like, yeah, put you away? But yeah, I think a good one would be some sand. But then when I was thinking about, I'm not, and I promise I haven't spent too much time thinking about the big cocks. Um, glitter, glitter. Because if you've got some sand on you and you just kind of rub it off, it will come off, won't it? But glitter really wouldn't. Pocket fent. What's fent? Is it what? What is it like fentanyl? If you got that in your eyes, I don't know how fentanyl works. What is fentanyl? Is it like a crack cocaine kind of thing that you have to smoke in a pipe? Is it like a rock, or is it like powder? I don't know how. I don't know too much about fentanyl, other than there's quite a big issue in the US with it at the moment, isn't there? You could just say that you're on your way to work as well with some sand, or if it was that you got some glitter in your pocket, you could do the same. You could just, oh, yeah, I was making some birthday cards, or I was making some Christmas cards or something like that. The difficulty with your sand when you got home, if it was dry sand, you could just turn out your pocket and it would just come out, wouldn't it? Whereas glitter, you'd forget, put it in the wash, and then take all of your clothes out, and it would just end up looking like, yeah, you'd just be full of glitter, wouldn't you? Which wouldn't be particularly annoying. Which would be definitely annoying. I wonder what the throw distance would be as well. Maybe that's something that we should test in the future. Because I imagine with sand, there's a bit of weight behind sand that you could get somebody maybe say a meter or two away. Whereas I think glitter, as soon as glitter hit the air, it would just disperse and kind of it would just fall down, wouldn't it? So it's funny you should say that. So randomly, because I put that content out about like self defense, um, there was it's brought up a few other people that they're like, oh no, yeah, this is what you need to carry, and you can carry this, and no one will stop you. And this one guy was like, oh, I've been through the airport, and TSA have never stopped me with this. Um, and all he'd done, which I forget what's the American. Is it Lowe's? Is that like your DIY store? Here in the UK, it'd be somewhere like B&Q or Wix. And he went in and got like a large nut, the heaviest one that he could possibly get, and he kept that in his pocket. And he says the other thing that you needed was just some paracord. And he says you get the paracord, maybe get say I don't know a meter's worth of it, probably less than that, but let's say about 75 centimeters. Um, tie a knot in the end of it and have it around your neck. No one's ever going to say, why have you got some paracord around your neck? And well, that's a bit weird. Why have you got a large nut in your pocket? But yeah, this guy was like, oh yeah, I've been through airport security with this, and I've done this, and I've been through here, and I've never had any issues. TSA have never stopped me and gone, that's weird. You've got like a nut in your pocket. I guess the thing I suppose he didn't mention is the fact that he just never took it off his neck. Because if you go through one of those, like one of those, you have to like stand there with your hands up, it wouldn't notice a paracord necklace around your neck, would it? It just wouldn't notice that at all. Yeah, so you'd never put the two together, because if you put the two together, somebody go, that looks like now what's one of those called? Is that a morning star? Is it no? A Mace's the one with Mace's the staff with a bit on the end, and then is it the morning star that was the stick with a bit on the anyway? Yeah, I think if you carried them both together in the same pocket, somebody would twig and go, that's a bit dodgy. I don't think you should be carrying that. But yeah, if you just had it in your pocket and then had the what's it round your neck. A shoestring, yeah, a shoestring would probably work as well. I think there's quite a lot of people that wear like a shoestring style necklace. So you could easily take one of those off. Yeah, do you know what? I know a couple of old timers that still walk with shillelaghs because of issues that they've had in the past. Um, yeah, the old fashioned walking stick or the old fashioned cane is it's not it's not illegal. It's a grey area here, mainly because if you walk with a walking stick, then you've got to walk with a walking stick. If you're stopped by the police and the police say walking stick, yeah, I've got a bad leg, I've got a bad knee, then there's nothing that they can say about that. Whereas if you go, oh no, my leg's fine, I just walk with this so that I can beat people up, then they go, well, you can't do that. If you're attacked and you use the walking stick, again, it's a bit of a grey area because you're not carrying it for the intent to use for self-defense. You just happen to use it as self-defense when you're attacked. By the way, all of this that I'm saying now, just in case people are watching this in the future, I'm not a lawyer. If you're concerned about self-defense and how to protect yourself, don't take anything that I say as granted. I have done some investigation into this, but it is such a strange grey area. There's so many things that you could use because if you think about it, even just a set of keys. If you've got a set of keys where maybe you've got say a couple of metal, I don't know, you've got your front door key, you've got a couple of other keys on there. Randomly, you've got one of those nuts that we've just been to B&Q and we've just bought one of those, and then you put that nut onto your key as well. Um, a lot of people have a lanyard on the keys. So as long as that lanyard was strong enough that if you were to and hit somebody with it, that the keys just wouldn't fly off in another direction, then I think again your keys on the end of a lanyard, again at the point that these are definitely things that you shouldn't carry in your pocket for self-defense. That would make an excellent improvised kind of self-defense tool, because again it's just something that you could use for defense because you can keep them away from you, and then when needed you could just lash out that extra arm's width to be able to get to somebody. Yeah, I think there's some people that would look at paracord and they'd think, whereas a shoelace or what's that other stuff? The stuff that they actually make necklaces from. It's like a waxed. I think it's just called wax string or waxed cord, isn't it? It's usually like black, and then you put your beads through it. You could have one of those with just a simple knot in the end. That as long as it's long enough that you could take it over your head, that yeah, you could easily do that. And I guess with a little bit of practice, if you were to able to take that off, if you suspected something was going to happen, if you could take it off beforehand, have your hand in your pocket, you could probably thread it through the nut or whatever it is that you've got in your pocket to then to be able to defend yourself or whatever it is that you need to do. I think there's quite a few things. There's quite a few things that you could do with that, and I'm sure because I mean we talk about string, but you could also do just a piece of leather rope. Again, I think if you saw somebody with some leather rope with just with like a fancy knot, like a Turk's head kind of knot, so rather than just a half inch, whatever the different types of knots are called. So instead of just like a normal knot on the end, if you could do like a Turk's head or a half Turk's head or something on there, so that looked reasonably kind of decorative, I think for a piece of like a leather thong or a leather piece of rope, nobody would question that. I think probably I'd say your shoelace and your leather rope would probably less likely to somebody go, "What's the crack here, sir?" than maybe some paracord. It's yeah. So there's a couple of them there, and they're your old school ones. They are your old school ones. I know. So your Peaky Blinders with your hat. I think the difficulty with some of those hats is mainly because of if you watch the Peaky Blinders in the first few seasons, you can see the razor blade in the front, which is where they were kept. That's where they put them. So part of it was that initial visual deterrent. I'm not going to do anything with this guy because he's got a razor blade in his hat, and two for the offensive side that you could take it off and that you could cut somebody with that if you needed to. But your coin purse, yeah, you see a lot of those, especially again. I think old timers, and no offense to like old people. I'm not trying to separate people out, but yeah, a leather coin purse, especially a long one, shaped. They're usually quite long, aren't they? So you unzip the top, the coins go into the bottom. So at the time when you're opening it, you can lift it up like that, and then the coins splay out on the inside. So you can go, okay, here's the coin that I want. When everybody knows that once that's zipped and all of the coins are down the end, you can whack someone around with that. Yeah, because I think originally they used to have a small stone in them, didn't they? It was like a flat stone that would go into it, and then they would stitch around the stone, and then the leather bit would be your handle to kind of hit people with. I'm sure at some point, didn't the police used to carry those? I don't know if that was a thing. I think the police used to carry those. Either my great granddad or my great great granddad was a police officer. He had a truncheon, and I'm pretty sure he had one of those leather bits with the bits in the end. Probably should do a little bit more research into this one. What this called? Oh no, somebody did say what they're called. What are they called? It's called a slapjack. I'm not sure we call them slapjacks here in the UK. I think we've got a different word for them, but yeah, it's something similar to that. Ah, so you were in the UK, but you've moved to the US now, right? It's something I mean I'd looked into that. I think I was born on the wrong continent sometimes. I do love being I love the Kingdom of the Moorlands and I love the UK. It's changing, shall we say? I don't want to. We won't go into it too much because I'm sure the people here will understand the reasons why I won't go into it too much. But it's definitely changing. I think I think I could adopt the American lifestyle. I think I could do that. I think blackjack. There you go. Yes, that's what they were called. Yeah, I think I could. I think I could adopt that. Yeah. Anyway, so where were we? Blackjacks. Not to be confused. Again, here's some of the bits on this. Not to be confused for those sweets that made your tongue black. That was similar to the fruity ones. Those Mora knives are excellent little knives. I've got the Eldris. Yeah, they are really nice. Yeah, good little ones. What's that? Martin Bland Band? I'm not sure what that is. Called Saps. Oh, is that what the original one that the police used to carry? I don't know. Oh, I tell you what, I don't know if you follow the guy, but YouTube channel called Dies in Every. It's either Dies in. I don't have to check this because I want to give him the shout out that he deserves. It is. He's called Dies in Every. Dies in Every Film. I definitely recommend when you finished watching this here on YouTube, do a search. If you can see there, bring this back. Dies in Every Film's Customs. He is Yorkshire way, ex-army, really nice guy, and makes random weird weapons, stuff that I kind of on the line as to whether it's something that is legal here, but because some of them are made custom for people to own in a collection, it's ever so slightly different. But yeah, when you finish this, Dies in Every Film, some of the stuff that he makes, yeah, it's mad. So he'll do like a cat of nine tails, but instead of making it with leather and having something on the end, he'll make it from like an old chain or something. He makes some really kind of bizarre medieval stuff on his channel. So definitely give him a look out if you're into kind of strange weapons. Yeah, you definitely need an excuse to carry a Mora or a fixed blade here in the UK. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, if you're in the US, then you probably don't have those issues. Um, it's just such a weird one because on many occasions I've been in Tesco, I've been in Asda or wherever it is, and I've seen a guy that's clearly a tree surgeon or is a gardener or something like that, and then he'll have a knife on his side, and you just don't think twice because he's clearly dressed. He's an arborist or whatever he is, and you can see that it's there. But then obviously you've got these ne'er do wells running around the streets with some ridiculous kind of swords and stuff. So yeah, you have to be careful. I've always wondered, and I know they just go, no, sorry, that's a ridiculous excuse. But if you're a chef and you're walking to work and you've got your roll of knives, if you're stopped by the police and they go, whoa, this is a lot of knives, what are you doing? You're like, well, look, I'm in my chef whites and I'm about to go to work. You can phone my employer and he'll tell you that I'm in work now or should be in work now. You just stopped me. And I'm a chef there. So I'm allowed to carry this. Exactly the same as if maybe you go into, I don't know, I was going to say jujitsu, but I don't think jujitsu. They don't use swords. But whatever it is, you go into somewhere and you've got a sword, but you go, well, I'm going to my karate. Again, I don't think karate, but I'm going to my martial arts class, and I'm taking my sword with me. I do wonder if I'm walking through town and the police stop me and they go, "You've got a locking knife here. You shouldn't have that. We're going to arrest you." If I turned around and said, "Well, I get paid. I'm a professional knife reviewer, so it's my profession to carry a knife. So this is why I've got a fixed knife with me. I've got a locking knife with me today because this is my profession. I can show you on here that I get paid from YouTube to make knife content, sir, officer. So for my profession, this is why I carry a knife with me. on a day-to-day basis. I'm seeing how this works in a in a in an EDC setting. I'm good. Thank you very much. Can I go now? I don't think I'd get far with it, but it'd be interesting. I mean, it wouldn't be. It would be interesting to try if there was a chance that they went, okay, no worries, or they just went, oh, no bed, go on, we'll take you now if you get home. Stop being a div, kind of thing, and wouldn't end up like spending the night in cells, which I didn't think I'd want. Oh yeah, strobe light. That was sorry. I was just running. I'm such a terribly slow reader. Yeah, Grimney Reaper. Yeah, you're right on that. Do you know the fact that you can direct a light into somebody's face when you do it and it's during the day and your pupils are dilated and you're letting a lot of light in anyway. Just the fact that you can. I shouldn't have shown you that light. That's not officially. That's not out yet. Let's get this light instead. Yeah, I mean your pupils are already dilated, but when it's dark and you just go straight to that into somebody's eyes, that disorientation, but then also being able to, if you can, you've got one with strobe, the variable refresh strobes. They're the worst ones. They're the ones that really kind of make your head just kind of mashy after a few seconds. Yeah, it's surprising just how effective they are. But then also, I guess if you've got the light like this, and it is one of those tactical lights where you get instant access to your strobe from the tail switch, you're already in kind of a position to, yeah, you know what I mean. Especially with the tactical bezels on them. There's a through night one. What's the game? What's the name of the guy? There's a guy on YouTube that used to do loads of kind of stuff about, oh, this is how you evade people when you're in the wilderness, and he used to do loads of kind of hints and tips. But then eventually he just kind of got into like strange conspiracy theories, and he just does a lot of stuff about like how the world wants to kill us all now. I forget his name. On his logo, there's an Indian spearhead, like a Native American spearhead, with the guy in there. I forget his name now. So he made a light with through night, and the tactical bezel on there might as well just be four or five knife prongs sticking out. You can take it off, turn it around, and screw it the opposite way so that it doesn't just simply cut holes in your pockets. But yeah, you can take it off, screw it the other way around. I'd hate to be hit by one of those. The glass breaker ones where you've got like the ceramic beads on those, they wouldn't be nice anyway. But at least, I mean, it's gonna smart no matter what when you get hit by one of those. But having somebody just kind of where you've got those kind of ones where it's real like prongs kind of getting in your face, yeah, they'd be horrible. But yeah, a good flashlight with a decent strobe on there, and it doesn't even need to be much. 1,000 lumens, anything more than 1,000 lumens is really going to hurt someone's eyes when if you do that. Rabbit's foot can't, yeah. Especially if you could get one like with little nails, little withered nails that are still on there. Or a long distance hole puncher. Yeah, we don't obviously have issues with that here in the UK. It is one of the beauties, and it's weird because I know a lot of people think that we aren't allowed to keep firearms here. We genuinely are allowed to keep firearms here. Pistols we're not allowed to keep unless they've been heavily modified. But shotguns and rifles, they're legal as long as you're not a criminal and you've got your firearms license. You're going to get into a lot of trouble there if you use one for self-defense. A buddy of mine, the village or the town that he grew up in Norfolk Way, There was a guy. Oh, his name's just slipped off my mind. I think he was a farmer, and he'd been burgled, and he knew that the people coming back to burgle him another night, so he lay in waiting for them with a shotgun. Let's just say the burglars didn't come off too well. But the guy ended up in more trouble than the burglars because he lay in waiting for them because he knew that they were coming back. But yeah, hole punches definitely work. Say what? Someone was walking through Taunton with a couple of crowbars. That's a real funny look. Oh, you're walking through Taunton with a couple of crowbars. Yeah, it's weird stuff like that here in the UK that I just don't get. You could go into any B&Q, buy 3 crowbars, and nobody would bat an eyelid. Or you could walk into any Go Outdoors and buy 2 ice axes, climbing ice axes. And they'd probably go, "Can I just check, sir? Are you over the age of 18? Yep. Grey beard. Yeah, no worries. Thanks. However much it costs. Thanks." You could walk out with them in your hand, and I mean, probably some people would bat a little bit more of an eyelid, but people aren't like, "Oh, wait a second, you've gone into Tesco and bought a small paring knife. I just need to check your entire family history before we can do anything else, Mr. Moorlander. Can you just tell me your inside leg measurement and this, that, and the other?" You're like, "It's a small paring knife. I've just been into B&Q and bought 2 crowbars, and I've just come back from Go Outdoors, and I've got a couple of bloody ice axes in there." And they're like, "Yeah, no worries. It's fine. It's all good. Have a good weekend." Yeah, okay, thanks. But yeah, it's just a weird one, isn't it? Maybe that's another good one then. Yeah, bath salts. I know there was a bit of thing about people smoking bath salts, wasn't there? And they're just going a bit doolally from them. So maybe what you could do is get one of those bath bombs, crush it up, and have that in your pocket. But although if it was sand or glitter and you stopped by PC Plod and they went, "Is that sand?" You'd be like, "Yeah, it's sand." Bath salts might look a little bit like controlled substances, unless they were like multicolored, like you get with bath salts. I suppose it's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, if you got that in your eyes and then they just started to dissolve, you see those weird things where like people drink vodka and put it into its fastest way into the blood system, which I don't know if that's actually true or not. But yeah, have at thee, and you just like whoosh, ninja star some bath salts into somebody's face. Or what you could do is ninja star the bath salts into somebody's face, sit on a wall, and then get your camera out because you just be like taking a video of them while they're having some sort of like existential crisis and trying to run around chasing a giant rabbit with a Mars bar or something. I think that'd be quite funny, actually, wouldn't it? Yeah, definitely stay away from the salts. I've heard a few dodgy things that people kind of done with those. No, this was when you were a maintenance engineer working with. Oh, working. Oh, right. Okay, right. Sorry, I thought you'd actually like walked into a bank in the UK with some crowbars or something. You get that much ice over there? Uh, Ice. We get a bit of ice. You could have some rock salts in your pocket. Marcy, somebody we mentioned that earlier. I think there's some good sprays that you could use that you could easily say you got a bad knee or you got a bad back or something, because it's perfectly legal and nobody would generally bat an eyelid. I suppose the closest. I wonder what the distance with something like that would be. I guess if somebody's within arm's length, no matter what, if you've got somebody's trying to attack you and you've got them by the scruff of the neck, you're always going to be within a certain distance anyway. So I suppose it's not too much. I think imagine the funniest one would just be like if you got some of that. I'm trying to find something that's the right size. You know, like the breath spray mint stuff. You could that totally sounds like some sort of like strange sketch from like the 80s of like the American Saturday Night Live, or over here it'd be like the Russ Abbott show. Somebody's getting mugged and then somebody's like spraying breath spray, minty spray, and then the police turn up and there's like a lineup. You could imagine it like that, couldn't you? There's a lineup. They're all blindfolded, and instead of the person going on, it was number 8. It was definitely number 8. It's him. It's definitely him. You just have them walking up and down, just like sniffing. No, sniff. It's definitely that one because I use that exact peppermint spray. Oh, need to buy ice axes. We have sufficient ice. Yeah, probably not as much that you would need an ice axe, but yeah, we do. So especially if you're in the Scottish Highlands, you can do some climbing there with ice axes, or you could have more of I forget what the difference is. So you've got your proper climbing ice axes, and then you've got your longer ice axes that you can use for like you almost use them as like a bit of a walking stick as well, couldn't you? But again, you could easily go into a Go Outdoors and buy 2 of those ice axes, and nobody would bat an eyelid. They'd just be like, probably just check to make sure. If I walked in, I don't even think they'd ask if I was 18. They'd just be like, thanks, have fun in the snow, kind of thing. A deep heat would definitely be a good one though. Or I wonder if they did like, did anyone use Tiger Balm? If there was like something like that, so you just like when I get like you need to grease something, you just like put your hand into it and just kind of and then kind of lather it all on with some grease. Just have some Tiger Balm in your pocket that you could just get out and then just like rub on the face of the person that was attacking you, and like just for the next 20 minutes, just like that. Just tears like streaming down the face. By which point, Mrs. Moorlander's running and bosh, kick them in the balls. That would be quite funny. I wonder how much. I don't know what they look. Would that be ABH or GBH? Could you imagine? Could you the way that the law works nowadays? Could you imagine being prosecuted for GBH or ABH, whichever one it is, because the person that was attacking you kicked them in the balls, and they were like, "I'm going to sue you for that. I'm worried about my future children," or something stupid. Anyway, there's a lot of stupid stuff going on. Oh wow! So what? So you got a 22 mini revolver in your pocket, and then you've got a 1911 A1. Wow, with the Lord's caliber. Yeah. Anyway, by the way, I'm glad that you're on Angry Ranger. Yeah, I wish I'm genuinely fascinated about the US Second Amendment, gun culture that you have there, and how it differs between different states. some of the restrictions that you have in some, whereas others are just like, no, we're going full Second Amendment. You can carry a bazooka if you want, kind of thing. Yeah, I do miss, and I wish we had something similar to that here. Being old enough, growing up through the 80s and 90s, I lived around firearms. My 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 papa on my dad's side, they were the ones that lived in North Wales, and he was in the Royal Signals. And after the war, he kept his revolver. I'm not sure what caliber was. It was one of those Webley. There was a very famous one, that the Webley revolver that a lot of the forces during World War II had. He kept that, and he also had a couple of other rifles as well. One of them he absolutely loved, and it was a, what was it called now? It was the Mosinagant. I'm sure the Mosinagant, the Finnish managed to capture a load of them off the Russians, and they kind of pimped them out, and they did bits to them to make them better and more reliable. And yeah, he came home, and he got one of those, and he absolutely loved that thing. But we had some troubles mid-90s where pistols were pretty much out and out banned. So instead of getting it fixed, let's say, he took it to the police, and at the same time he took in his rifles as well. One was a hunting rifle, which I think was just like a Remington kind of hunting rifle, and then the other one was Mosinagant, which his Finnish captured one, which he absolutely loved that. He absolutely loved that gun. The weird thing, and I think I've mentioned this before in the past. Again, after when you finish this, Google in a British legal pistol, especially for the guys in the US. Google British legal pistol, and you'll see how strange the modifications are that we have to do to a pistol for it to be legal here in the UK. I don't know the exact numbers, so you'll have to take some of this as just kind of me trying to remember them. But a pistol has to be 24 inches to be legal. Now this is an airsoft pistol, by the way. So this isn't real. This is an airsoft pistol. So it has to be 24 inches, and the barrel has to be 10 inches in length by law. So you take the barrel out, you end up with a barrel poking out the end to make sure that the barrel is 10 inches. But the overall length of this has to be 24 inches. So coming off the back here, you then have a rod, which is a piece of metal that just sticks out the back of it. So you've got a long barrel there, and then you've got this rod poking out the end to make sure that the whole length of the pistol is 24 inches. Because we had some issues with domestic terrorism here and people having them in the waist, whereas you can't have it if it's 24 inches because the back end of it pokes out here. So we can kind of own pistols, but they have to be heavily modified in order for them. Yeah, maybe one day I'll get out to the US and I'll go to a range, do some shooting. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, because shooting twice is just silly. Remember talking to my granddad. So my granddad was a Royal Marine, and a lot of the stuff that he used to fire was 45 ACP. And when they started to bring in the 9mm, he was just like, it just seems stupid. You're just wasting 3 bullets when one probably would have been sufficient. Yeah. Halitosis. I could totally imagine in the UK somebody grabbing by the scruffy neck and you go, come on, fuck her, like this. And then phoning the police the day afterwards and going, I'm thoroughly offended by that gentleman's bad breath. And his halitosis was ridiculous. I'd like to press charges, please. I don't know why all people that attack other people have got this like really kind of posh accent, but that's kind of what I imagine. Sorry, I thought I put that on silent there. That was just Mrs. Moorlander. She's out tonight. She just wanted to send me a message to tell me how much she loved me and what an amazing husband that she is, that I am, and that when I'm not in her presence, how much she misses me. Maybe. Yeah, we do. Yeah, like I say though, as far as, and again, so this isn't real. This is a airsoft, but the pistol side, the gun violence that we have here as far as pistols is concerned is next to none. We do have it if you're in big cities like London, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham. I think Birmingham has quite a bit of gun violence. It's next to nothing. The guns that the police do take off people. How's it going, Paul? How's it going, buddy? Yeah, the guns that are confiscated from people generally tend to be like that Webley that I was talking about that my granddad had. They go round to the granddad's house and they find this gun and like, oh brilliant, I've got a gun, I can, and they sell it. It's that sort of stuff. So it's very rare that, I don't know, a bank will get someone will run into a bank with a couple of like staccato kind of guns and some really nice kind of 911s or like the modern 2011s. None of that ever happens here. From time to time, big organized crime, and I mean real kind of big, well organized crime, they'll get in some Glocks or they'll get in some newer guns. But it is incredibly rare. I don't know anyone that's been shot. I mean, I do, but that was when we were dickheads, when we were young and we were just messing around with like 22 LRs and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it is incredibly rare. One of the largest kind of crimes as far as people attacking places to get guns generally is farms, because farmers will generally tend to have a shotgun. It's a lot easier to own a shotgun here in the UK than it is to own something that's rimfire or centerfire. So yeah, you get a lot of people breaking into farms so that they can take those. But again, so a pump action shotgun that would have, say, 7 or 8 shells comes under a different law. So a lot of the shotguns that they'll find are either side by side or 100 overs, which, yeah, you've got to keep reloading those, which, yeah. I'd say that's pretty bad halitosis if there's no way that she can sneak up on you, especially if she's upwind from you. Yeah, that would be quite funny. That's probably what Mrs. Moorlander was messaging me about. I'm sure she'll get a good night's sleep tonight. I'm a massive snorer, so yeah, I think she'll appreciate the fact that she gets to have she'll be in a spare room at her sister-in-law's house and not have to worry about just like me like that in her face snoring at her. Oh, I'm glad you're having a pint there, buddy. So I actually managed to find some American ale. I'm drinking some Shipyard tonight, which is from Portland, Maine. I think that's the opposite end of the country as from you, but I thought, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, that and quite handily, I just managed to find some American ale. Yeah, managed to get some. So here's. Oh, I tell you what. Here's to our American viewers and a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you've all had a good Thanksgiving, and then equally, here's a cheers to everybody else that's watching as well. Hope you're all good. How old is the young lady? My wife's actually a year older than me. She was in so the small town village that we grew up in. There was two high schools. She went to the Catholic high school, and I went to the down and out high school on the other side of the train tracks. Quite literally, there was a train track between the two schools. Yeah, she was the year above me at high school. She got herself a toy boy, and I got myself a beautiful wife. Hope she's not watching. Fun fact: no ballistics and shotgun pilots. Oh, because the no ballistics. I don't know what you mean by that. I do like the idea of a mating call from a male purposely while he's asleep. Instead of that lion wandering around the plains of Africa, roaring to entice females in during the day, we have we have beautiful males that fall asleep and beckoning the females from a distance away, whilst fully asleep. That'd be quite funny. Oh, rifle it right. Okay, yeah. No, yeah. I suppose that makes sense. I suppose can you take a fingerprint from a bullet? Is that possible? I suppose you might be able to take DNA from a bullet as well. I guess. I know the way that DNA works nowadays. You just need the smallest amount. So if you're putting the bullets in and you thumb it in and you've kind of pressed the front of it, I wonder if you could take somebody's fingerprint or if that would get smudged off as it went through clothes. If that would, I suppose there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of heat there, which might burn away some of that DNA. So randomly, I was thinking of getting some Mexican. I say Mexican beer. We've got one in the UK called Desperado, which isn't. I mean, it's called a Mexican beer. It probably isn't. Um, and it's like a real kind of cerveza beer, but then there's a shot of tequila in it as well. You get pretty drunk on those. Yeah, it's pretty good. That's extra. That. I suppose that's extra precaution. Yeah, drop them in a little bit of bleach beforehand, and then just make sure that make sure that they're put in there, just in case. Oh, I wonder if they could put some scrubbers on the inside. So where you got the rifling, so every other thread on the rifling, there's just like a little brush that just kind of shines it as it's coming through, removes anything from it. I'm now thinking of scenes from oh, what's that? One with the oh, shockingly bad memory. Dexter with his latex gloves and the kill rooms that he was in, where he had all the plastic around the room. Anyway, we weren't talking about that. What we were talking about things not to carry in your pocket. What were we saying before? We need to scroll back. So we done sand, we done glitter, we done the bath salts. The bath salts would really be a good one. Or the just strange kind of Desperados is French. No way. I didn't realise that. Yeah. So there you go. It's very kind of Mexican man, I suppose. So this is the shipyard. I thought this was American, but it turns out it's actually, and we checked earlier. It's brewed and bottled in the UK, which I'm guessing is probably in Burton, which would make sense. Yeah, just like other thing, itching powder. Itching powder. Could you imagine? I mean, could you imagine getting itching powder in your eyes, and then you just that kind of just trying to like get that out of your eyes? That would be another one that would really hurt. The only difficulty would be is you'd need to make sure you were not in the way of the wind, because if you went have at thee and then it blew back in your face, then yeah, you'd end up in a lot of trouble because you'd be ended up wiping out of your eyes instead, wouldn't you? Which I guess would be the reason why you should carry bath salts and sand over glitter and what's one that I just said? God, my memory's shockingly bad. Over glitter and that other one that I just said. Because yeah, if that came itching powder, if that came back in your eyes, it wouldn't be nice. Yeah, I mean, if you'd all like to hit the like button, it would certainly help out. I probably don't do that enough, and I know I should do, because I know people say you need to, you have to do like a call to action because people forget to do it, and I know I don't do that a lot in my videos and say everybody hit the video, hit the like button, which weirdly, the one that I was on about earlier, the one that kind of spurred all of this on, the 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 UK legal spray thing. This has earned me more subscribers than any other video. I've had 2,400 subscribers from that one piece of content, which is crazy. On a monthly basis through the year, it ranges kind of January to March are usually the worst months because people they're just not watching as much. I get say 200 or 300 subscribers a month. November and December are my best months when I get between kind of 500 to 600 subscribers a month, new subscribers. So yeah, so getting 2,400 subscribers from one piece of content was mad. I just it's crazy how much that one video is blown up. So I'm definitely going to do a follow up to that. In fact, I bought another couple of bottles of that spray. Somebody commented something about, I can't remember what they put, but they put, because when you push it down, there's two little seals in it that you just have to break. And somebody said, oh, if you did that, if you were a woman, you wouldn't be able to break those seals. So I bought a couple of extra ones. So I'm going to take one of my daughters out. We'll go down into the woods and she's already tried it. So I'll put it on there so that they can see that a meager female has been able to actually do it. Oh, stinging nettles. That's a good call. That is a really good call. Could you imagine so you're there, you've come off the train, the officer goes, "Excuse me, sir, we're just going to pull you to one side. We just need to check your pockets. It's just a random search. It's fairly standard. Have you got anything sharp? Have you got any sharp items in your pockets that might hurt me?" Nope, no, nothing at all. They put the hand in your pocket and then just make eye contact, and they're just like, because they've been stinging nettles. So weirdly, I don't know if you know this, but stinging nettles, if you keep getting stung by them on a day-to-day basis, the sting in you it releases something in you, and if you keep getting stung on a regular basis, after a while, your body has got enough of it in there that you don't get stung. So what you could do is it'd be an absolutely alpha move to constantly have stinging nettles in your pocket. And every 20 minutes, or it's every hour or so, when the nettle sting's gone, put your hand back in, go, oh, and then after a few weeks, just dip your hand in so that you wouldn't get it. And then when somebody like, and just like whip it in the face, it'd be like when you see when you see what's the in the saunas, although I think you're supposed to sauna, however they say it in Finland, and then you kind of whip yourself with those branches. Just do something like that and kind of shake it in somebody's face. I think that'd be quite funny. Oh, Dearborn. Are you close to Dearborn, or is I again? I'm not going to get too much into the weeds on that one, but I know there's some dodgy stuff and some issues you guys have got in Dearborn. Uh, yeah. Anyway, moving on from that one, that could be something. Yeah, to get stuck in the weeds. Chili powder, Captain. Yes, cracking one. Chili powder would be a good one. And again, oh, it would just be. I think the thing would be hand in. What's this, sir? Chili powder. Okay. Would someone like, oh, that's weird. Why have you got chili powder? Although, if you did have chili powder, I don't know how fine chili powder is. Is it fine enough that it would go through your the linen or the cotton of your pocket? Imagine that. You're just walking around. Next minute, you're like, oh, my balls are a little bit warm, and then like 30 seconds later, you're just like, huh, I'm just gonna have to pour this pint down the front of my pants. It's like another just random night out in town. Randy's pouring beer down the front of his pants and complaining that his balls have been set on fire. And then the police turn up, and then there's that awkward conversation as to, can I just ask why you were kicked out of the bar for pouring beer down your pants? Well, I'd got some chili powder in my pocket. Can I ask why you got some chili powder in your pocket there, Mr. Moorlander? Well, variety is the spice of life, kind of thing. Yeah, I think that's the other thing as well, because it's not just a toss into some. There's a that's what she said there somewhere. It's not just the toss into somebody's face. It's also the ability to, if somebody is close to you, to kind of smear it into their eyes. I'm sure I read a fact about most street tussles, most fights, and I'm sure this will be all over the world because I'm sure it's probably pretty much the same. But 90% of street fights all end up in somebody in a headlock and then it's on the ground, which is why a lot of people say that things like your Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is a good self defense because 90% of fights all end up with somebody in a headlock on the floor. If you end up being the person in the headlock and you're trying to get out of it, but you can't because you're in a headlock, if you could put your hand into your pocket, get some of your chili powder, and then rub it into somebody's eyes, while if you could get your head up to do something like that, then that might just be enough for them to feel some sort of discomfort, so that they'll release the headlock and you can get out, kick them in the balls, and then run off. A rattlesnake and a haversack. Do you know what that is? As soon as I read that, my mind went back, and hopefully some of you will get this. WWE 80s, 90s, Jake the Snake Roberts, where it was Jake the Snake, was it Roberts? Jake the Snake Roberts? And he'd have snakes in a bag, and he'd come into the ring and throw the snake on there. I wonder how many people, if you were to walk around town with a boa constrictor around your neck, knowing full well it's not venomous, you could walk up to people and go, "You're a knobhead," and they'd just be like, "Okay, yeah, I am. Sorry, I'm scared of snakes," kind of thing. And yeah, just leave you alone. Maybe that's a good. Oh, hair removal. The difference with your hair removal cream is you've got to let that set, haven't you? Buddy of mine, I used to work and go outdoors. He's not going to be watching this, and he won't mind me telling you this. He used to use that imac around his undercarriage, and he'd got some hair removal cream on his undercarriage, um, and for whatever reason, the 5 minute, I don't even know how long you're supposed to keep it on for. I've never done it, but he'd left it on for too long, and then gone to wash it off and realised that he'd burnt like 3 or 4 layers of skin off, and then ended up walking around like John Wayne in the in the Go Outdoors warehouse that we used to work in, because got not a lot of skin in an area they really needed some skin. But yeah, I guess if you were to do that just before you got into the headlock, and then you're just like, I'm happy to bide my time. Oh, by the way, fella, something wrong with your eyebrows? Are they stinging at the moment, sir? Yeah, that would be quite funny. Yeah, some of those crazy kind of like your Reaper and some of those. I was just trying to think of some of the other ones. But yeah, is it the Carolina Reaper? Is that the one? And then there's some absolutely crazy ones. All you need to do then is just maybe have one that was already cut, so that you could get it and just kind of smush it in somebody's face. Hopefully, it's going to be in their eyes. Remember, there was a I'm sure there's a chili eating competition in India, and I don't mean like chili as in like chili con carne, but red hot chilies. And the lady that one year won the chili eating competition, she celebrated by picking up another handful of chilies and squeezing them into her eye. Yeah, that's a bit mad. I don't think I'd ever want to do that. That's my idea of hell. But apparently she likes it. Yeah, Frank's hot sauce. That's another good one. Is it KFC? I'm sure KFC over here now. You can get like your normal hot sauce, but you can get Frank's hot sauce when you get your KFC, which is quite nice. I didn't. US folks, do you guys have Nando's there? So Nando's here in the UK is a chicken restaurant, and you go in, and then they've got hot sauces. You can have like mild, I think there's like super mild, mild, strong, extra hot, and oh my god, I've been molested kind of hot. And then there's like other different ones where you've got like a garlic one, and then I think there's like a lemony kind of sauce one. They're pretty good. I can imagine if you got one of those in just like a little squeezy bottle. Oh, so there you go, squeezy bottles. If you just got like a little. So we have I think is it called Jif. So when we have Pancake Day, Shrove Tuesday in the UK is called Pancake Day, where we just make pancakes because everyone likes pancakes. Sorry, that was this making a fart noise. That wasn't me farting. Um, and yeah, we have that, but it comes in. Imagine a plastic lemon, like you'd see in like IKEA where they've got them on the side, but then there's just like a little like a little screw top on it. So that's what we keep our like fresh lemon juice in. So if you got a Jif lemon with just extra stuff in it, although see, we also have so that's the thing. The Jif is your peanut butter over there. I just remembered that. They have that? Is it like a sort of like a red J, a green I, and a blue F kind of thing? Yeah, that would be different, but just something. Smell my flower, kind of the Joker, and squirt on somebody. That would be another good one, because I think if it was just some Jif lemon, and they'd be like, "What's this?" And you're like, "Oh, it's just Jif lemon. I'm out drinking tonight, and I hate the lemons that they put in stuff, so just squeeze in a little bit of your own." Whoa! Randy Savage was a friend. That's crazy. So, like a lot of people, especially end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, I loved WWF, and I was actually I'm happy to admit, when I heard that Hulk Hogan passed away, it was earlier this year, wasn't it? I that that affected me just a little bit, because you get to a certain age, and a lot of people that you watched when you grow up start to, disappear. Um, and my brother, who also, he was a little bit more interested than I was, but my brother messaged me and he went, "Oh my god, have you seen that Hulk Hogan's passed away?" I was like, "No." And then there was, I'm sure, somebody else quite quickly after Hulk Hogan passed away. I was like, "Oh, this is pretty bad. I hope somebody's looking after Randy Savage and making sure that he's okay." And he messaged me back and he said, "I'm sorry to tell you this, buddy, but Randy Savage died a few years back. I think it was it a car crash that he was in?" I was like, yeah, that was, yeah, you know, you have your heroes as you're growing up, and a lot of those wrestlers, they're cool ass dudes. And yeah, to hear that, they passed away, that was bad. But no way, as if you knew Randy Savage. That's that's kind of cool. Strange thing. So I mean, my name's Randy, but like when I'm at work and I send emails to somebody, if it is that it's one of the directors or it's my boss, I'll thanks Randy. But if it is that it's like a random birthday card or an email that everybody gets sent just so that you can, like, I don't know, add different bits to it, I'll always put as my signature. I'll put Randizzle McSavage, because of Randy Savage. Cool dude. Uh, no way. Oh, so it's not, all right. Okay, so it's not. Yeah, it's not a chain over. Oh, Vic's Vapor Rub. That'd be another good one. I think it's all about something that you could either get in somebody's eyes or get kind of. I wonder if there's anything that would, because your pepper spray is kind of twofold, isn't it? You get it in the eyes, and immediately your eyes start to burn, and you're crying. But then there's that first intake of breath, isn't it? We don't have pepper spray here, but the police use Parva spray, which is, I mean, it's pretty much the same. It's a synthetic capsicum kind of thing. I wonder how much of that there would be that you could, there's something that you could use instead, that you wouldn't necessarily be blinded, but as soon as it got into that nose, the conch inside your nose, that it would kind of affect that sort of stuff. That's mad. Yeah, there's some cool names. Yeah, man, that brings back some memories. I'm so glad that Netflix, if you got your Netflix subscription, you now got the WWE subscription to that as well. Do you know, when this is done, I might watch some WWE. Well, actually, I know what I'm going to do when this is going to. I'm going to play some Xbox. Um, but yeah, I might watch some of that tomorrow. Just have that fire. Oh, right, okay. Is that the Frank's hot sauce? I think one of the things that I think certainly the big the Brexit discussion here over the last few years has been pretty mixed, whether Brexit was a good or a bad thing. But what it has done is it's certainly meant that a lot of US products, it's been a lot easier to be able to get those here now. And yeah, I think some of those kind of American hot sauces. I mean, there's lots of other things. It's not just hot sauces, but it's becoming a lot easier to be able to get access to those. I do quite like Frank's hot sauce. Um, if we do like steaks on the barbecue in the summer, I'll put a bit of that on there. That Tim, that has just brought back an instant memory. Raljex. Yeah, I've not used that for a long time, but I can imagine some Raljex in the eyes and nose. Yeah, that would be pretty bad. Yeah, that would be really bad. Yeah, you're going to be on the floor crying for a good while before that kind of wears out. And hopefully by that point, being the person that's been attacked and you've kind of gone about in your face or whatever, yeah, you've got some good distance. I wonder what other sort of blood. I know we talked about some of the other kind of bludgeoning things. Well, like I say, so yeah, Mrs. Moorlander, she's not in tonight, so the world genuinely is my also is my lobster. You've not missed much, in fairness. So the beer tonight is Shipyard, which is a US beer that apparently is it's brewed here in the UK, and we've just been talking about different things that you can have in your pocket, to or at least things that you shouldn't carry in your pocket. To be clear, that you shouldn't carry in your pocket for self-defense. We've touched on 12-inch rubber cocks because that would just be really funny if you got stopped by the police and they were like, "What's this?" You're like, "What does it look like? Don't sniff it." To other kind of improvised shillelagh or kind of things that you could hit people with, and now we're on to things that you'd kind of or like throw into somebody's face, where we've looked at sand, salt, glitter, and then also sprays like your deep heat or your Raljex, all of that sort of stuff. Um, have you got any suggestions so far uh, for rank travels? That'd be a good one if you've got any. That was yeah that was an abridged version of what you've missed. I think what would be really funny is if there was like because so I'm you might have seen there's a couple of big pieces of content that I've made about traveling. And one of the things that I keep whenever I travel, especially with work, can you remember those Borat mankinis, that green thing that kind of went down and over his shoulders. So I keep one of those in my bag so that if anybody ever stops me and says, "Excuse me, sir, can we just check inside your bag?" I'm like, "Yes, of course you can. Certainly don't mind." So that when they open it, it's always on the top. And there's always just this wry smile of, and it's a good icebreaker because I've got 3 kilos of heroin in there as well, so it just stops them from going in and deeper. They're like, "Oh, this guy's a sexual deviant." So we'll okay, Mr. Morland, you can go through. But if there was something that obviously again you shouldn't carry in your pocket, and I think that would be another good one, like a weird mankini kind of thing, so that when the police do turn up, you've got someone hog-tied. They've got the hands behind the back and the feet tied up, and they're all kind of up there. And the police turn up and go, "So you've hog-tied the person?" "Yeah, I have. Yes. Can I just check? Is that a Borat mankini that you've hog-tied the person?" It is. It is, sir. Yeah, it certainly is. Excellent. Can you just undo that? That'd be amazing. So that maybe we could put some handcuffs on. And thank you. I think that'd be another kind of like weird thing that you could keep in your pocket. I know it's not a self-defense side, but if you could get your deep heat sprayed on the face, and when they're like, "Oh, my face is burning," kind of thing, whilst they're down on the floor, hog tie them in a pair of like like a lady's thong or something. But instead of just being like your wife's thong that's got like nice slim hips, like a Lizzo thong, like those like big weird funny ones that you get that are like a meter or a yard wide that you hold up and go, "Look, this is what my nan wears," kind of thing. But instead you keep like this massive huge thong in your pocket so that if you could hog tie somebody, you've got them like hog tied or like a huge novelty thong. I think that would be quite funny as well. Oh wait, on your channel, you've done some improvised stuff on there, right? Okay, I'm genuinely going. I mean, I probably could have written this down before in the what's it, but going equipped. I will check those out because that's kind of interesting stuff. I was mentioning earlier, so I watched a guy, and he made some content where he'd just been to like a Lowe's and bought the biggest nut that he could find, and then like a shoestring, or I think he actually used some paracord. He bought like 40 meters of paracord just so that he could um, carry like a meter's worth of it. Um, and he was like, "This is how you can protect yourself for, I don't know, $6." I think that's how much he'd spent. So cool. I will genuinely check that out. I'll have a look through those. The rubber dong thing probably will have confused a lot, especially if you're coming in at this point. Yeah, so I'm sure you can all remember if you've seen the film Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. There's a character in there that bludgeoned somebody to death with a 12-inch black rubber cock. But just the hilarity of being stopped. And can we just check your pockets there, sir? Certainly. Feel free. Or being like it's tucked into your waistband, and then you're being frisked, and they just kind of, is that what I think it is, sir? I'm happy that you're here today, kind of thing. I think that would be hilarious. Dirty underpants would be another one, yeah. If you got some dirty kecks that you could just kind of pull off and threaten somebody, and I think that would be a good one just to kind of hold up and go, if you come anywhere near me, I don't even know what that says. What does that say? Oh, that's some. I was just checking it wasn't like something from work. If you come anywhere near me, I'll get you with these kind of thing, because nobody would want to go near any crusty kecks and get some of that kind of near the face. But then I wonder what the thing would be in court. It would be like GBH because somebody got you with some like gooch sweat or something. You're just like, no, yeah, I'm good, thanks. My days of crime are completely done. I'm hanging up my crime clothes because all criminals have got like striped tops and like little kind of eye masks, and they go around with swag bags and stuff. Fart spray would be a really good one. Especially, can you remember those one? So you got this fart spray, but old school. Can you remember those ones that used to get like a little glass vial, and then all you need to do is just kind of lob it somewhere, and the glass vial would break, and then all of that kind of horrible sulfur kind of smell would get out. Because I guess I suppose with one of those though, if somebody was to knock you and then you get that on you, then that yeah, oh god, that would be a horrible smell, wouldn't it? But yeah, that'd be another good one. Just some fart spray, but just something. So if you got one of those little the Jif lemon squeezy things, if you could get some really old eggs, put them in something so that they just went just like just what the mash them up, add some water to it or something that you could then squeeze it. You could squeeze it at somebody, but I would wonder if that would be an instant deterrent. Is that an instant? Oh, I can't see, or is that an instant? That first breath in that you'd be like, dude, I was just about to mug you. Have you shit your pants, kind of thing? Um, yeah, that would be. Maybe that's the ultimate deterrent. Somebody goes, give me your wallet, and you just go, "Ugh." I just shit my pants. If you want, we can wrestle now. I'm happy to wrestle with you now, with my kecks full of turd. Shall we go at it? No, I'm good. Keep your wallet. It's a nice watch, by the way, kind of thing. Could you, on the flip side, with your 12-inch weapon, just imagine they did take that off you. So we've now defended ourselves. The criminal's gone. He hit me with a 12-inch rubber rainbow-coloured cock. He even held the bell end, so I got hit by the balls as it came round to hit me. That then gets took off of you and then gets took to the police where they're putting it in as evidence in one of those plastic bags. And they're going to the evidence guy. What's next? Keys, brilliant. Okay, what else have we got? Valuables, wallet, brilliant. Okay, yeah, excellent. Wedding ring, yeah, brilliant. Okay, 2 laces off each of the shoes, yeah, brilliant. What's the next one? A 12-inch rubber what? I thought that's what you said. Do we have large enough evidence? Oh, right, okay, so you've had to put it in the body parts bag. Brilliant, okay. Yeah. Just the look on the face and the criminal talking, he gets out and he's talking to his mates in the pub about like a proper. Yeah, I was out in town. I tried to mug this guy. His girlfriend ran away. You got quite a big bruise on your face. Yeah, got hit by the balls. You got hit by the what? Yeah, it was not one of the best evenings. Oh yeah, what's that called? I don't know how you pronounce that. Is it surströmming? That's the is it herring? Pickled herring? There's a guy that makes some stuff over here in the UK. I think his name's Sean Dodd, and he opens that. But what he'll do is he'll open it up in his car, and he'll take the top off it. And as it opens, he's like more, and then he just like projectile vomits over everything while it's not a particularly nice thing to watch. That'd be a good one. If you were to take off the whatever the I think it is like it's pickled. Is it pickled? Whatever the brine is, whatever that it's in. If you get some of that, put it into a squirty bottle. I keep going on about squirty bottles. What you want, again, this is airsoft. This isn't a real one. What you want is an old school water pistol. Someone comes up to you and says, "I'd like your wallet. I want your keys. And give me your mobile phone." And you pull that out and go, "What are you going to do with that?" And then kind of run off. Because I guess for the rest of the night, they would also smell of that, and then the clothes would smell on that. So maybe that is the Scandinavian version of your marker spray, because instead of getting that red stuff all over your face, your whole body now smells of pickled herring or whatever it is. Yeah, I've not had the pleasure of testing that or trying that, but I've seen a lot of people. It seems to be quite a viral thing, doesn't it? To open some of that and then just eat it. And I'm sure I've even seen a few Finnish people trying to open it and trying to eat it, and they're just like, "No, that's disgusting. I don't know how my fellow Finnish enjoy eating that sort of stuff. It's horrible. It's horrible." We have something here in the UK called I've just forgotten, Marmite. The UK is pretty much split. You either like Marmite or you don't. There's nobody that's just like, it's all right. Maybe that's the Scandinavian version. Marmite. A big glob of Marmite in your pocket. Whilst you're in the headlock, you get the Marmite out and do like a kind of thing and put the Marmite in the mouth. Or would that be classed as like a chemical attack? It'd probably be classed as I think most of the things that we've discussed this evening would be classed as a chemical attack in fairness. But yeah, I think somebody put like a big glob of Marmite in my mouth. I wouldn't be too happy with that. Is this marker spray stuff any good? I mean, I've not had the chance to use it. I've seen a lot of people talking about it recently, about how it's being used. I know from the people that have watched my video that people have said that they carry it with them and they've took it out as a deterrent, and it's helped. Um, it is unfortunately probably something that the government soon will just turn around and go, no, it's not legal. It's not at this moment in time. It's not legal. It's not illegal to purchase. You can go onto Amazon and you can pick it up. It's non-toxic. It doesn't leave any lasting effects. It doesn't damage your eyes. It doesn't. If you were to inhale it again, it doesn't. It's not toxic in that respect. However, there will most probably be a point where the government will turn around and say we're not allowing this. I think the big thing will be the first time that somebody this is the first time that you go to court, because at this moment in time nobody is being prosecuted for using it. So that's going to be the big decider. If it goes to court and some random judge goes, no, think about the person that it's been used against. How will it damage their poor, fragile mental state that they now walk around with a red face for a week? And it'll probably get banned. But at this moment in time, it's not banned. So yeah. Have you seen food videos about that? The stuff. Yeah, it's not the nicest. I've seen some people that do like these weird challenges where they eat particularly nasty stuff, and even for them, they've not been able to eat that. I'm not a big fish person. I'm a meaty person. Warm-blooded male, I like my meat. I'm a beer, I'm a birds. But no, I'm not a big fish person, so I don't think I'd be a big pickled meat, a big pickled fish kind of thing. Yeah, we had noticed earlier about the girlfriend with halitosis. Right, now we're coming up to 2 hours. So I think we'll call it for 2 hours. I will genuinely say I have thoroughly enjoyed tonight. I think this was definitely a good one to talk about because it was light-hearted and jovial, and I think maybe next time. So the next let's check some dates. So the next last Friday of the month will be Friday. So that'll be Friday the 26th, which will be that's Boxing Day, isn't it? That might be a tricky one. Let's see. Let's see if maybe we'll do Saturday the 27th because Boxing Day. I know I'll certainly be busy on Boxing Day, so maybe Saturday the 27th will be a good one. But maybe we should try and do something that again a little bit related to the kind of the stuff that we like to talk about anyway, but something that's a little bit more kind of light-hearted. I've certainly enjoyed tonight's. I as soon as I put that first suggestion of things you definitely shouldn't carry, I thought, yeah, this is going to be a good one. So I definitely appreciate tonight, folks. Yeah, it's been a good one. Now, before you go though, I did mention at the beginning of this, so I know I have a couple of them here. But these are the Olight Oclip Pros. The good people over at Olight have said that they'll give me 2 of these, but they won't send them to me. They will send them anyway. So what we'll do is we need to think. Right. Okay. So the first question is. I mentioned earlier Somebody just asked what Boxing Day is. Do you not have Boxing Day in the US? Is Boxing Day not a thing? You have Christmas Eve, you have Christmas Day, and then you have Boxing Day. Boxing Day is the day after. Yeah, you did miss one. This one again. But anyway, so where were we? So I mentioned earlier that UK, right? So if you can remember this one, I mentioned earlier. This is airsoft, by the way. I mentioned earlier that UK pistols have to be a certain length in total, and that was in inches. So for a pistol in the UK to be legal, what is the length, the minimum length that a pistol has to be here in the UK? Answers below. First person to get it will get the first prize, which is one of these lights, and we do have 2 of these to give away. Can anybody remember the length that it needs to be? Maybe that's a bad question. Let's think of another question. No, it wasn't 22 inches. No, it was close to 22 inches. It wasn't 12 inches. It was longer than that. "24 inches." Yes, spot on. Off the top of my head, I'm sure it's 24 inches. Right, so parking lot. So you will get one of these black Olight Pros, but they did say the Oaklet Pros. They did say that they'll give me 2. So parking lot, you get the first one. The second one is true or false. These American Shipyard are American beers, but these are actually brewed in the UK. True or false? What are you doing with the extra bits? No, we've gone past that one. We're on the next one now. So Shipyard beers, these are American beers, but these are actually brewed in the UK. True or false? I think I've got one left actually. Yes, Tim, true. They are brewed here in the UK. So Tim Smooth and Parking Lot. If you go to my YouTube page and you go all the way to the end, I think it says more, and then there's an actual contact button there. You just have to click on the contact button and then click yes. You definitely want to get in touch with me. You'll find my email address there. So if you email me at my email address, then I'll get your address details. I'll pass those over to the good people over at Olight, and we'll get you both each one of these Oaklet Pros. I think it's the black version, which is either this one, which looks a little bit stealthy, or it'll be one of the normal ones like these, but it'll just be a black color. So congratulations to Tim smooth and parking lot. I'll get those when you email me. We'll get those over to we'll get those over to you, Light. Get those over to Olight. So congratulations, guys. And again, I generally, I mean, I've quite enjoyed the previous nights that we've done these, but generally have enjoyed this one. I think it was a good crack. And yeah, it was a funny one to do. So maybe next time, I'll put in a little bit more of a tongue-in-cheek suggestion, which should be good for Christmas. Yeah, so cool. It was really good tonight, guys. Oh, folks, obviously there might be some ladies in here. But yeah, I hope you're all good. And again, here's good health to the Americans that are watching, or North Americans that are watching, that have recently had their Thanksgiving. And again, to everybody else, a cheers to you too. See you soon. I don't know how to end the stream. Oh, it's there. There's a button there at the bottom. There you go. Anyway, cool. See you soon, guys.